Hi, Danae. I will have to drop that.
Oh, so no Nikita. Okay. Okay, are we good? Okay, great. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome back after summer. I'd like to call the September 18th, 2025 meeting to order. Before we move on to the agenda items, I'd like to acknowledge our very hybrid meeting format today. Our meeting is being recorded and will be available by contacting Danae or by via the City of Bothell website. A call-in number was also provided on the agenda for members of the public who wish to call in by phone, but I don't believe we have anybody from the public online, okay? And then for our phone-in callers, during staff presentations, staff will make every effort to specify which materials they are referencing so everyone can follow along. And Danae, I believe you sent some things via email to folks knowing that we had some people remote, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so just folks, if you get a chance online, if you get a chance to look at your email to see that before we talk about the grant program, that would be really helpful. Okay, we will now take a moment for roll call of the Bothell Arts Commission by position number. Please say here when I call your name. The first person is position 1, and that's Sarah Jamshidi. And unfortunately, Danae and I just learned a day or so ago that Sarah moved to Kirkland. So she was very sorry to learn that she couldn't be a part of the Arts Commission, but you have to live in Bothell to be on the Arts Commission, the Bothell Arts Commission. So we unfortunately won't have Sarah joining us anymore. And given the timing, I think the position will then be open as part of those that are open in 2026, is my understanding, versus filling it prior. Is that right, Danae?
I think we're still working on that.
Okay.
So we'll have updates soon.
Okay. So moving on, Kylie Chang, Secretary, position 2. Is she hot? I know she wanted to dial in, but I don't see her
It
yet.
says I joined the link. Has the meeting not started yet?
Oh.
It has.
So while you're working through that, I think I can just continue on roll then. Hillary Long, position 3.
Here.
AC Peterson, position 4.
Here.
Great. Holly Hughes, Vice Chair, position 5.
Here.
Mary Beth Turk, position 6. I'm here. Nikita Thakalath, position 7 is now absent, right? And so, and then Unshi Shah is here. Oh. You should say you're not me. Okay, and then Vita Babu?
Here.
Great. Welcome everybody again. In addition to the Arts Commission members, the following city staff are in attendance. Arts Liaison Tourism Manager, Danae McGee, and also Administrative Services Coordinator, Tanisha Tadami. With that, I don't believe there are any other staff members here, anybody that I've missed. And so we can move on to the next topic, which is approval of tonight's agenda in order and content. So if everybody has had a chance to look at that, we just need someone to make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
I can motion to approve.
Okay, does anyone want to second the motion?
I'll second it. AC.
Thanks, AC. Since Kylie isn't here yet, is there anybody, are you taking notes, Danae? Okay, great, thank you. Okay.
I was going. Okay.
Okay. So the motion is to approve tonight's agenda in order and content. Anybody wanted to talk or add anything else? Okay, if not, let's vote. All those in favor of approving tonight's agenda in order and content, please raise your hand. I can't. Okay, it looks like it is unanimous. Okay, we can move on then. The motion is approved. There are no public comments because we don't have anyone from the public joining. Also tonight, we don't have any special presentations, so then we can move on to the chair report. The one thing that I did want to bring up on the chair report, and tonight's agenda is going to be very heavily focused on the grants that the grant applicants that are for the 2025-26 season. So we intentionally wanted to make sure we had enough time to talk about all of that. So the October agenda is going to have a lot more focus on all of the topics that we discussed as part of our commission meeting with the City Council. Danae graciously put together a recap of those topics that were shared when we asked those different questions by council member. And so she'll send that out after tonight's meeting. And if everybody could just plan to take a look at those different ideas that were discussed We don't want to lose sight on any of them, but we also know that we can't possibly do all of them. So what we'd like to focus on in October is what are those things that resonated the most, that you feel council got behind the most, and as well that you think are really strong things that the Arts Commission should focus on. And then we can prioritize those things in conjunction with the other things that we know are already going on as well. So we want to kind of look at the October session as being a real strategic, holistic view at kind of all that we're looking at, combined with all the input from council, plus some of the other things that are going on now, and then kind of have more to our action plan of what we want to be focused on for the rest of 2025 going into 26. Okay, so this is the one thing I wanted to mention there. I think the only other thing I wanted to mention here, just council said that they wanted to hear more from us. We didn't feel like, given that we are going to have the October discussion on October 16th, we wanted to push back an update to council. So it looks like we're going to try to meet with council just as an update meeting, when we have like 10, 15 minutes to update them, probably on December 9th or 7th. Is that right, 9th today? Yeah, so we have a tentative slot on that schedule, but we'll talk more about that in some of our next meetings. Okay. And I think that's all I wanted to talk about as far as a chair report. So with that, I think we can move on to new business. The first topic under new business is consideration of the June 19th. Was that not June 19th? July 8th, 17th. Thank you. Okay, meeting minutes. And so has everybody had a chance to look at those? And does anybody want to make a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, so I think, when she just made a motion to approve, I think, and then Holly, were you, I guess I didn't see who was first, so.
I'll second it.
Okay, great. All right, does anybody have any comments on the motion to approve the meeting minutes from the July meeting? Okay, all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, please raise your hand. I see everybody, but anybody opposed? Hillary, are you good on that?
I was just going to abstain since I wasn't at the meeting and haven't had a chance to look it over. I don't feel like I should vote on something that I have no knowledge of.
Okay, so then we can make note of that we have 1, 2, 3. I don't know about Kylie. Is Kylie approved?
She raised her hand.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 approved. I don't, because I don't vote, right? Or,
No, you vote.
oh, I vote. Okay.
You just can't make a motion.
You think I've only been gone a month, half a month. It's like I can't remember what my job is here. Okay, so then we have 1 abstaining. All right, with that, the meeting minutes are approved. So the next topic, again, is the kind of the meat of our meeting tonight, and that is the Creative Arts Grant Program for 2025 and 6, and a discussion regarding the juror or the panel input and the selection from the jurors that we then need to review and then agree that we want to move forward with and assign funding, et cetera. So with that, Danae is going to kind of take us through more of this in detail.
Okay, I would like to remind everyone about the guidelines for the Creative Arts Grant Program. The purpose of this program is to support individual artists and cultural arts organization whose primary focus is the arts and who are interested in developing innovative projects that honor cultural diversity, build community through the arts, and spark creativity. The project must include a culminating event that takes place in Bothell. So we provide funding for the art project and the work that goes into creating the culminating event that's accessible to Bothell residents. Cultural arts organizations are eligible to apply. However, individual artists and organizations based in Snohomish County did receive an additional point during the scoring rubric of the jurors when they were reviewing the applications. With new funding available to Doors Open, the initiative that we talked about when we were building the guidelines, this is funding through that's available to arts organizations located in King County. So that's why we were giving that extra point to individual artists as well as cultural groups located in Snohomish County, because they're not eligible to apply for for culture funding. Grant awards are between $500 to $10,000. The Arts Commission had the opportunity to review the top 15 juror scored applications. There were 4 of you that signed up for that. They've had an opportunity to go into the CAFE platform and read those top 15 applications. 8 applicants scored a perfect score, and 7 applicants scored just below that. One of these lower scored applicants is proposing a temporary public art piece for Lot E, F, and G. The Economic Development Coordinator for the city has funds for 3 pedestals. So we will be talking today about those temporary public art opportunities, one of which is in that lower scored area. So I would like the Arts Commission to heavily consider that as a top-tiered scoring application. So that would essentially take the top number of funded applications from 8 to 9 projects. Anybody have any questions so far? Does that make sense?
I had one question about, I know when we went through this process the last time around, there was someone who had a project, but it hadn't really been vetted, like with the school and some of these things. So they hadn't really done enough of the legwork to figure out, is this even viable from a location standpoint? And what I couldn't really tell, and maybe it's just I didn't dive far enough into the cafe or whatever it was, do all of these that were recommended have locations and and in order to make some of these things happen? And I guess so how do we handle that?
I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest with you. It's something that artists are very creative. They have their ideas. One artist is planning to do his project in a church, and that's an option for other projects as well. So there's the opportunity to do something outside, like at the amphitheater, perhaps. There's also the opportunity to do projects at the North Shore Performing Arts Center. So as we go through these, what I'm going to be requesting is that you give staff some flexibility to be able to have conversations with each of these artists once the Arts Commission has determined the applications that are tiered according to your priorities as well. So then that way, when I meet with them, if an artist is really set on doing something at the North Shore Performing Arts Center, for example, and there's only $1,000 dedicated to that, that I might be able to have a little bit of flexibility to increase that amount to $3,000 if we need to. So I just want to be able to have those individual conversations, and I haven't done that yet because I don't know which ones we are funding.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and I guess the difference maybe from that last time around was that it was a school
Yeah.
and requiring other people versus maybe a specific, just location only. Okay.
Excellent point. And I don't recall any of the applications requesting to do something in the schools. So thank you.
Okay.
All right, the 9 projects that, oh, sorry, AC, you had a question?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of you, but I'm not sure how the columns are, how the amounts are added up.
Yeah.
Because we have 52,000, but we have more than we can award, right? In a nutshell.
Yeah. So I'll
More
get there in
requests.
just,
Okay,
I'll get there in a sec. Thank you.
thank you.
So of the 9 projects that scored a perfect score, 1 is in literature, 2 are in music, 2 are temporary public art projects, and 4 are visual art projects for a total of $37,985. The grant award that we received from For Culture is $52,000. And that now leaves an additional $14,015 for us to play around with. And what I'm requesting that we do tonight is that we trust the jurors and that we spend the majority of our time dedicated to the applicants that scored not a perfect score, because we will fund those projects. So if you're all on board with and I'd like to talk a little bit more about the temporary art projects, and I'd like to show those to you because we have 3 pedestals and we have 5 pieces of public art that we could potentially add. So we need to figure out which 3 we want to focus on. So that can be part of the conversation tonight. And then the rest of the conversation I'd like to dedicate to those projects that scored slightly below perfect to determine how you want to prioritize. So we don't necessarily need to spend a lot of time on the amount, although there will be some conversation there, but just also getting an idea of what is your number 1 priority, from those second tier proposals. Does that sound okay to everyone? Okay.
Could we at least go through the top tiered ones just real quick, just to get a very brief overview and just really quick. This is this is this, this is this.
Okay.
It seems like if you could go into a cafe, right, and just do a thumbnail or something.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. So give me 1 second. Oh, leave. I'm sorry. But I hit, just give me 1 second. I gotta log back in. Okay, let me log in now. Okay. All right, the first project that scored a perfect score is Alexander Reinhardt. Alexander is an individual artist, and the project is called Glory Days. It's a playing game. They'd like to do this in June of 2026 and July of 2026. This is their first time presenting something in Bothell. The project proposal will be to create a tabletop play rolling game called Glory Days. It's intended for ages 10 and up. The game takes place in 2003 and asks players to imagine themselves as actors on a teenage drama TV show, such as Supernatural, Smallville, or Veronica Mars. The premise of the game is that we are working together to create a TV show with one player acting as director and producer and the rest as actors. Each episode of the TV show will feature part of a science fiction plot where aliens have invaded Earth and infiltrated the local high school. Each 2 to 4 hour session of the game focuses on relationships with other characters, personal objectives, and collaborative storytelling. The benefit will They will release a PDF copies of the final game for free to all Washington residents and will facilitate 4-hour open sessions of the game. These games will be free and open to all. During the sessions, they will teach the game to anyone who wishes to learn, as well as run the game for those in attendance or assist others as they run the game. They'd ideally like to be able to facilitate these functions in a public location, such as a library conference room. The intended audience is to reach tabletop gamers, and we'll pin announcements on public boards at local board game stores such as Zulu's, and through other sources such as Discord and Twitter and Blue Sky, or some of the other platforms. They'd also like to reach out to the library system, such as King County Library, and use it if they have resources to leverage and share the word about the open sessions with library patrons. They have some contacts with the drama departments at the 2 high schools and can ask them to make their students aware of the opportunity as well. They are a foster parent, and they have firsthand experience working with teens in the foster system. So that's a group that they're interested in reaching out to. But they also intend to have a safe place to play and pretend. The game will be freely available digitally, and there will be 4 sessions of the games that anyone can show up to and play free of charge, irrespective of race, gender, or class. The funding request is $3,855. And here are a couple of examples of some other products that they have launched. This one is called Shoppers. This is called Close Encounters. And this is Cyber Rats. The next project on the list that scored perfectly is Kate McKenzie. Kate is an individual artist, and they're interested in doing Peter and the Wolf Children's Concert Series in the spring and fall of 2026. This is their first time presenting in Bothell. The goals of the proposal consists of 2 free community performances of Peter and the Wolf in Bothell, presented by the Professional Woodwind Quintet. Before each performance, they will introduce their instruments and characters to guide young listeners. Partnering with local schools and the public library allows us to bring the program directly to children, removing barriers of cost and access. They provide high-quality live music, presentation on stage, and a shared cultural experience. The culminating public benefit is 2 free performances of Peter and the Wolf to the community. The main location will be the library. To your point, you focus on the library rather than the schools. The primary audience is children, and especially those children that don't have access to live music due to barriers such as cost, transportation, or limited opportunities. They are a professional group, and they, here's a picture of their group. Any questions? Okay, the next group is, individual is I believe it's Lana Zacks. This is an individual artist, and the project is called Sound Worlds. They're wanting to do their project April through June of 2026. It's their first time. Sound Worlds is an award-winning program featuring music for violin and electronics. It features the music by Hunter Pruger for Silent Moment, Brandon Warren Johnson, My Year with Cancer, Patrick Long, Shadow Steps, Missy Mazzoli, Vespers, and Aaron Levin, Video Game Vespers. It's intended to bring awareness to underrepresented composers, innovating and bringing sound from their life experiences to one of the oldest existing instruments, the violin. These are live performances to reflect on their lives, the sounds we hear, and how they appear in the performing arts. It offers significant public benefit by fostering access to meaningful, inclusive, and educational cultural experiences. All events are either free or offered at a reduced admission in collaboration with presenting institutions such as libraries, museums, and community centers. It includes live performances, artist commentary, and moderated Q&A sessions that invite reflection and dialogue across generations. It's intended for intergenerational community members, students, educators, art patrons, and individuals engaged with cultural memory, social justice, and contemporary music. They're requesting $2,500, and the applicant is a violinist, storyteller, and multidisciplinary artist dedicated to using music as a medium for connection, remembrance, and social reflection.
So before you go on to the next one, Janae, I did have a question just when looking at the comments. One of the questions, well, each of the jurors said yes, there was something about the budget not being very detailed. And so I would assume that there would be a follow-up before granting this money to just make sure that it was clear of how this money was being spent and it all made sense. I mean, because that was a little vague at this point.
Absolutely. They're asking for they're asking for $2,500 for their artistic services. They're asking for $200 for supplies, $800 for promotion and signage, $1,200 for other artistic expenses, and $300 for travel and transportation. I think where maybe the jurors are questioning a little bit is the other artistic expenses. So I can definitely look into that. Also, I'd want to be clear that that promotion was actually going toward that as opposed to something else.
Right. And then, is it clear because one of the things that's on the timing, it said April 2024.
That was a typo.
It was a typo. Okay. Yeah. And then was it specific of the number of performances? Maybe I just missed that when you were going through that, but.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. But that's just, obviously we'd want kind of those details confirmed.
I have a question. Are we waiting till you go through these top ones to comment?
I think
I'm
so.
holding my comments until you get through the 8 or 9.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess maybe if that's all right with you, AC. I mean, it's up to you. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to delve into?
You can keep going. I just have my
Okay.
notes that I'll
Okay.
get to after. Thank you.
The one that did not score perfect but scored next to perfect is Reed. And the reason why I wanted to bring this one forward is because this is an eligible project, and one of the jurors said no because they felt that that it was for a permanent public art piece, and that's not the case. So this is where I really need input from the Arts Commission in terms of the number of temporary public art pieces that we're going, of the three, which ones we're going to focus on. So let me find his work. He is proposing salmon public sculpture. He is proposing a temporary public art sculpture of a large spawning salmon. The size of the piece when it is completed will be 6 feet long by, I believe it was 5 feet high. So it's a large piece. It will sit on one of the pedestals. He's looking for funding to help with the down, let me quickly. He needs the funding in order to, sorry, I'm off the top of my head. Oh, he needs fabrication support in order to create the piece. He's doing it in wrought iron. And this is a maquette of what it would look like. So this is a small version, but the actual size would be 6 feet by 5 feet high. He is willing to have it on loan to us as long as we'd like. And this would be a piece that would be at lot E, F, and G. And E, F, and G, as you all know, is being activated. It now has 8 pop shops on it, but it's also under remediation, which means it's being cleaned up, which will take 6 to 8 years. So we can clearly include in the contract, what the minimum length of time would be for this. I don't think he realizes that we'd be talking about 6 years. So we would definitely be looking at something shorter than that. So maybe 3 to 5 years is what we'd be looking at, but that would be included in the contract. Okay. The next project that scored a perfect score was Jill Rulvik, and this is also a temporary public art project. This is called Blades of Change, and they're fiscally sponsored through Shunpike. This is called Bothell Mosaic. It's a celebration of culture and community. They'd like to do it in the spring of summer of 2026. It's a vibrant public art event curated by Blades of Change in collaboration with 4 BIPOC artists representing the city's growing cultural diversity. Taking place in 2026 to coincide with the global energy of the FIFA World Cup in Seattle, the event will spotlight original works of visual art that uplift stories of belonging, identity, and joy. It offers residents a meaningful opportunity to gather across their differences, experience local talent, and celebrate the many cultures that make Bothell unique. By spotlighting BIPOC artists and creating space for dialogue and shared joy, it fosters a deeper belonging and pride in place. The artists will be selected from communities historically excluded from public art funding, including Indigenous, Black, Latinx, AAPI, and immigrant voices with a strong focus on representing the significant Asian population residing in Bothell. They will commission 4 artists to do the project, and they will be painting on these 4 nuclear fan blades, which will be placed on the pedestals in downtown Bothell. The one-day public event will feature live art, community art making facilitated by Blades of Change, music, and global cuisine with a focus on engaging the large Asian population in Bothell. The event will be free, family-friendly, and open to the public. The intended audience is the general public with strong focus on Asian population. They will promote locally through printed materials. They will plan to do it in multiple languages. They're asking $8,000, which primarily covers the costs for the 4 artists. So they're asking to do 4 blades. These blades are very large, and this is an example of what it looks like. They're 6 feet long and about 4 feet wide. And most of the blades are, this artist cut through the center of the blade, but they are solid blades. And those are actually the pedestals that we would be purchasing through the funding through our for lot E, F, and G. So we'll have 3 of those, and they're quite large.
And I think right back in that summary, this artist found 200 of these blades and then is using them for all these different projects. So there's 4 that they're talking about for this, but there are 200 some overall.
Yes, they are recycled from a nuclear power plant that was, these blades were going to be thrown away. So here is an artist actually painting on the blades. And here is another example of how large they are. And you can see a couple behind this gentleman here. They want to do 4, so if we, between that and the salmon, that's 5 different sculptural pieces, and we only have 3 pedestals. So what I'm needing direction from the Arts Commission on is, what do you want to do? Do you want to do the 1 salmon and 2 of the blades? Do you want to do 3 blades and not the salmon? So that's what I'm needing input from you on tonight. And then the next project is Julia Forrest. Julia's project is called Illusion. I would like to note that Julia lives in Brooklyn. She is not a Washington resident. She can be flexible on her timing. She would prefer January, February, June, July, August, or September. This is her first time. After researching Bothell's landscape, she's a film photographer, and she seeks untouched environments, but she's constrained by the buildings and urban sprawl. She uses mirrors, reflections, and perspective to create illusions with women posed as mythic figures reshaping the natural world. She would build a suitcase-sized darkroom on site to print without digital manipulation. By photographing local people in Bothell's environment, she would be allowed to shoot freely, using the land as both subject and collaborator. She would love to give back to the community by offering workshops on film techniques like cyanotype or photo transfers. Her goal is for people to see Washington anew, feel empowered to create with their own hands, and understand that nothing stays untouched unless we fight for it. The public benefit is the project lies in both community engagement and artistic exchange. She would work directly with local people, photographing them in landscapes personal to them, creating a meaningful connection between subject and place. She will offer free photographing workshops to participants so that they can learn darkroom technique and create their own analog prints. Her audience are residents who are interested in arts, nature, and alternative photography. She's particularly interested in working with people that engage in fine art, who typically do not engage in fine art or analog photography. She would like to collaborate with the local arts organizations, libraries, schools, and community centers for the program. She will use social media, community bulletin boards, and local press to spread the word. She will engage with underrepresented populations in Bothell by offering this for free. She's requesting $4,500. I'll show you the budget so you can get an idea of what it looks like. Because obviously there's travel involved. So she would like $800 for film, paper, chemical, darkroom supplies, $100 for promotion, $1,200 for rental, $2,800 for travel and car rental, $50 for contingency miscellaneous, for a total of $4,950. Any questions?
Like pictures of her artwork?
There is. The next project is David Lampel. He also is from out of state. He will be coming from Las Vegas. He's an individual artist. The title is Eyes on You, Reflections from Bothell's Edge. It's a proposed mobile sculpture installation built from a reclaimed shopping cart outfitted with vintage CRT televisions and a mounted video camera. The screens loop community-produced video portraits of unhoused individuals and families in Bothell and King County, reflecting on how they came to this point, whether through job loss, illness, domestic violence, or the soaring cost of housing. As passerby approach the cart, the live video feed shows their own image on one screen, creating a mirror-like encounter. The message, "There but for fortune go you and I." Developed in partnership with local service organizations, the project aims to provoke conversation, deepen empathy, and inspire local action. A culminating event will feature the sculpture, video screenings, and community dialogue in a public Bothell space. They'd like to do this in February through April of 2026. And preliminary site visit includes an intensive period of video documentation and interviews with those affected by homelessness, law enforcement partners, and service providers, and outreach to key stakeholders, including local nonprofits, housing advocates, public safety officials, and mental health providers. They want to engage with partners such as Willows Youth Services Center, the King County Coalition on Homelessness, and the Center for Human Services, gathering insight and feedback on local conditions. In April, they will ship the 10 CRT monitors, edited video and sculpture components, and return to King County and assemble and stage a 3-day workshop and exhibit with community involvement. The final sculpture will be presented in a public accessible space to provoke reflection and action. It reflects the stories of local people and the factors that put so many at risk of homelessness in King County that eventually impacts the Bothell community. The goal is to humanize these stories, challenge stigma, and foster community conversation around the factors leading to housing, economic, and social insecurity. The culminating event will be free, public exhibition of Eye on You. The event will include an artist-led talk through a community dialogue on housing and security and space for reflection. Admission is free, and outreach will be supported by partner organizations. Intended audience are Bothell residents, civic leaders, service providers, youth, educators, artists, and those directly or indirectly impacted by housing insecurity. They're asking $6,650. They're looking for $1,200 for artistic personnel costs, $500 for technical for the local electrician load in and load out, $600 for a gallery attendant for exhibition labor locally sourced for $2,300. Then they're also asking for $350 for supplies, $500 for promotion, $300 for permits and rentals, which I don't know if that will be necessary. It looks like they are providing in-kind costs quite substantially for $4,000, which includes lodging, car rental. No, I'm sorry. Lodging and car rental is part of the grant proposal for $2,700.
Looks like Holly has a question.
Hi, Holly.
Yeah, are the homeless people portrayed in the videos not being compensated?
I don't necessarily,
if-
I didn't get that there would be homeless people included, but
Oh,
I
it sounded like, I thought it sounded like they were showing videos of real people, local people. That's what it sounded like in the description. And then, but then also reflection of the person walking by, so they'd see themselves in it alongside. But if the people, if they are showing real homeless people in the videos and they're not getting paid, I'm not comfortable with this one.
Okay.
I also had a hard time envisioning what, looking at the sample, I wasn't quite sure what it was looking at, but it looks like Kylie has a hand up too.
Go ahead, Kylie.
Yeah, reading the description, it sounded to me like it was just like the perspective, but not necessarily not like acting, but like kind of like it. Like it's just the perspective shown, not the person being like, not like a feature. But to that point, I would agree. I definitely feel the same way. If that were the case, but it doesn't sound like that to me. But now that you've
I
mentioned
probably
it,
just misinterpreted. I thought they
it's
were showing
okay.
like
Yeah,
real people in the spaces. I was like, I don't know,
yeah,
that feels
yeah.
good. But if it's representing it that you and then putting you in that like position, then I like it. But it just
Let me bring up the examples. Sorry, I was just going to read the statement and see if there was anything there that. I'm not understanding that photo very well.
I had a hard time looking at the photos, the examples, and getting an idea of what this would look like this, but then CRT terminals, vintage sounds like they wouldn't be in operation. So I was just trying to understand like where this might be going, but I had a hard time.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Broken glass everywhere. People on the stage, you know, they just don't care. I can't. Take the smell, can't take the noise, got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far, cause a man with the torture repossessed my car. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. A crazy lady living in a bag, eating out of garbage pails, used to be a fag hag.
Okay. The next project is Andrea Luecki. This is an individual project, visual anagrams, collage, doodles, and puddles. They would like to do it in April and August. This will be their first time in Bothell. It's a collage program that engages creative intelligence while producing a shared experience. Participation occurs in a series of open sessions organized with prompts and illustrated examples of 2 specific collage techniques based on reconfiguring a single starting page. The results are then documented and published via social media channels, digital publications, exhibition, maybe the art walk. The overall goal is to provide a positive participatory art experience regardless of previous art exposure or access to materials. It presents principles of collage and art competition through informal play, removing the pretense and judgment associated with creative pursuits in adulthood. It's free with all tools and materials provided. The structure of the program is designed to not only provide a positive creative experience, but a positive social experience. It will provide up to 20 hours of public free access to art making over 5 sessions of 4 hours each. Intended primarily for adults, the activities are most benefit for those 14 and older. It will culminate in a digital publication showcasing participants' artwork and the process of creating the collages. They'll be freely available through different collage organizations. The audience is creatively curious and either doesn't have a community of encouragement, knowledge, or access to supplies to act on the curiosity on their own. Promotion will be done at the Art Walk, postings on Eventbrite, publications on various free community calendars, flyers. It's structured to remove any barriers so that people can freely participate. They're asking for $5,200. She's a social practice artist who uses collage to elevate a sense of belonging and connection. Here's a photo of an event that looks like they did. There's an exhibit of the collage work. Looks like there were a lot of people that participated. And here's some marketing that was done for it. This was called Community Garden Collage for World Collage Day in 2022. It was 79 inches by 55 inches. Would anyone like to see the budget for this? Okay. The next project, this is the final one that scored a perfect score, and this is Briar Newland. This is called Queer COVID Cautious Creatives. It's an organizational project support, Make Art Together, November through April. They've done this before, but they're adding a new or reimagined component. I checked into this and nobody was familiar with this group, so we're not quite sure where they've done it before, unless I missed it in the answers. It's similar to the art making event that they did in preparation for the art show described above, except without the pressure of the art show deadline. It comes out of feedback from the art show participants. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. This was at a, what group? I mean, where was this located? The school that's over here by QFC, there's a facility over here that I think maybe that's where it took place.
The Alyssa Burnett Center,
I think so.
that's associated with Seattle Children's, like an adult.
But wasn't
They do art classes there, so I think it may be from that location.
Was it that, or because I was just thinking based on the audience that they taught, or was it the, isn't there like an alternative high school? That's
Yes,
part of North
there
Shore?
is a part of North Shore. It's moved, as I remember, it's up by the bus barn is
Okay.
where that they moved their building to.
Okay.
Because they used to be at McMenamins.
Okay, so, but maybe this was
Was there,
there when
and
this
then-
happened, right?
Yeah. When did McMenamins open?
Oh, a while ago, I mean, like, it's,
So that's why I'm like, I don't feel like it adds up, but sure.
Comes from feedback from the art show participants that they want this programming to exist in this new, longer-term reimagined way. This grant would allow us to take the prototype we've run and turn it into a more sustainable, longer-term project. Their goal is to host a monthly 2-hour art making event that is free to participate in, provide art making supplies, and cater for all ages and cater to queer, disabled, and COVID-affected communities. They plan to achieve the goal by promoting, setting up, tearing down, and facilitating these events, and by using the platform that they've already cultivated on Instagram and Discord to get the word out. It would be advertised and open to the public and hosted entirely for free. Community members of all ages would have access to the free art supplies, free support, instruction for their art, and a place to gather and build relationships. It's intended for our audiences. It's open to anyone, but it's also intended for queer people of all ages who are impacted by COVID-19 pandemic and their loved ones, many of whom are disabled. This demographic struggles with isolation, so providing accessible events gives an opportunity for life-changing community building. It would serve queer people. They're requesting $600. They run the community group called Queer COVID Cautious Creatives, which serves the community of queer people in the greater Seattle area. They put on an art event each year. They've all been in Bothell. It's not clear though where.
well, this is our most recent event, was a collaborative art show in Redmond, is what it said on one of those sentences.
Yeah, I was just trying to see where in Bothell it is. Does anyone know where 1510 196th Street is?
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Hold on. Can you say that address again?
Yeah, 1510 196th Street.
Southeast?
Yes.
That looks like it's actually, I mean, it's almost Linwood. I don't think it's within Bothell.
Just gonna put it in Cobb map.
Yep, 196th Street Southeast.
I think it's
Oh, sorry, the Linwood, okay. There's
It's-
two identical addresses. One is southeast and one is southwest.
It's still out of the
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like it's
north.
it's in Kennard Corner, or that's the one. I looked it up.
Kennard Corner. It's
It's
Kennard.
outside of.
it's across the street from Creative Hands Studio.
Yeah,
Okay, so if it's outside of the,
Urban growth.
urban growth area, then it would not. The other concern I had with this project was that I wasn't really seeing how different it is from, it didn't seem overly reimagined. So I think maybe this might be something we need to take a closer look at.
I mean, the budget's small, but yet obviously it has to fit within the.
But it's also, there were like the specifics of where they've done this before, who they've done this with, like, it's just not there, which kind of gives me a red flag, but
Well,
that's.
it feels a little bit more like we're going to have an art gathering every month. I mean, it's more of an event
Yeah.
like, of bringing people together. But
Kylie? Did you have a question?
That was similar to what I was gonna ask about. Because I wonder, since the $600 is not like, you know, especially considering all of the other projects, not a very like large like budget request they're asking for. I wonder if we could, if we decide to, along with the rest of these, and we decide we have enough left that we would want to award them something. I wonder if we could ask them about like, if they could reinvent more, if they had other ideas, and also like what the location is, because I do appreciate the they want to bring like the queer community together, because Bothell has like a young population, and obviously like people could be queer and not like younger, but I think that there's like kind of um you know a like there's like room for that, like younger queer people want a space to be able to meet and find each other and like have a community. So I think that this would be something really good for that, but I do agree that some of these are like not specific enough and don't exactly relate to what we are asking for, but I do like their vision a lot. Also, sorry, I have to turn my camera on and off because my computer like freaks out really badly when it's on. But yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So when I put in that address, and then there's two identical addresses, one is southeast, one is southwest, hence my
I
confusion.
think this one said southeast.
Yes, so
right?
that is north of 196 in Bothell, so it's like north of Threshers Corner outside. But when I put it into Google Maps, it came up as the Clearwater School. So is there any reference to like what they're doing being at this school? And this school is like an independent unlearning school, like no grades, no this, no that.
Interesting.
I mean,
Why
it's,
wouldn't it say that?
yeah, it's, I guess I just have more questions than good feelings.
Oh, there, it says at the Clearwater School. Look at that, right there.
Oh. So are they doing something that, but why wouldn't they talk about it being at the school, like in their affiliation with this school? Like, are they a part of the school and they're just trying to?
They're just using the space because they feel comfortable in the space.
Yeah, I don't know, but it just,
Maybe they did
Makes me
state,
uncomfortable.
and because we're just going over the,
Yeah.
does anyone remember if
I
they,
don't remember that, but I maybe could have missed it too.
I think for this one, I would just, I like the concept a lot. I think Kylie is right. And there's a bit of like a desert for that particular community in Bothell. And there's a large community in Bothell that would like really engage with something like this. I think if maybe we could talk to them about doing one event, like one introduction, like in something bigger and different, and like maybe a gallery show of their former or something that was something that they could make unique for this experience. And then that could be something where they engage more community and then they're able to like further get people on their Discord, and then they can set up independent stuff later, like at that school that are the smaller ones they're normally doing. But maybe they could rethink this into like a larger event that was more different. So it wouldn't quite be just doing the same thing that they're doing, but with our budget.
well, minus the fact that they're just outside of the urban growth area, so.
But they could probably, I mean, it sounds like that's just where they're meeting. They could probably find another meeting space if they needed to, right? Like, I don't know if that's a requirement that they have to be at that address. They might be open to something else.
It almost sounds like that's exactly what they are. They didn't mention a location, so I think that they are open to pursuing various locations within the city of Bothell. That becomes a challenge, obviously, because we don't have a lot of gallery space opportunities. So I'm more than happy to reach out to them and have a conversation about what they're thinking. And if everybody feels safe, that I can find a location within the city limits and in a space that is accessible for everyone, then we can continue pursuing this if you'd like.
I'm not opposed to that.
I've got a note there for that. Okay, that concludes the top ranked artists. And what we need to decide on.
Casey's got her hand up just a minute.
Yeah, hi AC.
Hi, the one that's just below the top ranked artists, which is Anu Fadari. This is sort of a procedural thing because the comment from one of the jurors, excuse me, says this organization is based in King County and has received funding, and therefore did not want to give this this artist or group a grant. And I think since we have not said that need is one of the criteria, we should disregard that comment and that vote.
You were saying that maybe it should be considered a 3 along with the other projects.
Yeah, because the comment is totally based on need.
So you're saying that that we should make this a priority, even though they are an organization and in King County and receive Doors Open funding?
Yeah, we haven't listed need as a criteria on the application. I know we're giving an extra point for people who don't live in King County.
We're giving
an
an
extra.
extra.
Penalize some people.
Well, we have to stick with the guidelines. We gave an extra point if they are an individual artist or if they're an organization in Snohomish County. So
Right.
this may be why they didn't score a perfect score, because they are an organization in King County and they do receive Doors Open funding. So I think maybe what I would like to recommend is that we ask everybody else with a raise of hand if they would like to add them to the full the category.
And I hope I was
for.
clear about my reasoning, because we didn't say that need is part of it.
I hear what you're saying on that, AC. One thing that was interesting, I was looking at some of the other things where, and our money only goes so far. And so part of me was like, are there any of these that are considered nonprofits where there might be an opportunity for them to tap into Doors Open? Not that there's a guarantee they'd get funding, but that was another piece that I was wondering about as I was looking at this. Like, for example, the Reimagining the Art Walk, right? They're trying to make it a nonprofit, so is there an opportunity through that? I mean, so many of these were just below the net, like the full. There's 3 panelists, and in most cases, 2 said yes and 1 maybe said maybe, not even no. So I feel like there's a group of them right below that perfect score threshold.
Well, if it's all right with you all, maybe what we do is we finalize who we know are the 3, and then we begin having that conversation of who are the priorities for the 2.667, and would that mean that this particular project would rise to the top if everyone is in agreement that it does? 'Cause I think that all the groups have need. I mean, that's a given. So I don't know if it feels like the right argument in this situation to say that we didn't specify that there, we didn't call out need for the project, if I'm understanding you correctly, AC.
Yeah, and think that I think that we make an assumption that since this particular group lives in King County, because I think it's a juror comment that we shouldn't that we shouldn't use because we're not doing that based on other. I think it's just on this one. I don't see it anywhere else that we're saying anybody who lives in King County should get a half a point lower, should get a maybe.
Well, we had that in the guidelines, and that was decided before we went live with the guidelines. So to change that after we went live with the guidelines is not fair to organizations that maybe didn't apply.
Okay, so just so I get this right, I'm sorry taking so much time on this. I realize that we are giving, not the jurors, but we are giving an extra point if an organization lives in Snohomish County, an organization or an individual, correct?
Well, technically in the rubric, the jurors were supposed to give an extra point to individual artists and arts organizations in Snohomish County.
Only Snohomish, not
Right.
somebody in Las Vegas or in New York, like some of these people, right? Okay.
Correct.
Right. But they weren't supposed to deduct if they lived in King County, because that would be,
They just didn't get an extra point if they were in King County. So
right,
if this artist is in, this organization is in Snohomish County, I mean, well, they are in King County. So maybe that's why one of the jurors didn't give them a yes score.
yeah, okay. However you want to handle that is fine.
Okay, well, let's go back to the yeses and see if we're all on board with them, because there might be some projects here that that you have some concerns about. So are we confident about Alexander Reinhardt, who's doing the literature project?
That's the game, the game, yeah, literature, but meaning it's more of a game playing, role playing thing.
Correct. Thank you. All right. So we'll keep that one there. The next one is the Kate McKenzie.
That's the Peter and the Wolf children's concert.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had to mark those little notes. So I remember.
That's great. I know I didn't have room to put all of this information into the Excel to get it on one page.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that one.
Okay.
Everybody, I mean, I don't know how you want us to, like, raise our hands, what do you want, just,
I guess if nobody says anything, we'll just keep moving on.
okay.
All right, 2,500 for Lana Zaks.
Is this Sound World?
Yeah, I think so.
I have a question on that one. And this could probably just be answered in Danae, you talking to her. I can't tell if the compositions are in the public domain or if she's paying composers. And maybe that's just a question because
Peter and the Wolf is a domain.
no performer should be,
She's talking about
they should be
the
paying
person,
attention to the
Zaks.
intellectual property.
Sound World.
Okay. All right, if everything turns out fine there, we're okay with this project? No?
It's just not my favorite.
Okay.
How many performances would there be?
Does she say like how many performances they're planning to do? It's not very clear, right?
That's what I'm trying to find.
Like, where would you be placed? Like, what would be the people limit on those concerts?
I think it would be a difficult audience to find. It would be a smaller, more intimate audience, and finding the right location for that will be a challenge. I will agree. We don't have a black box in Bothell, maybe at a church or maybe, something intimate. Let's take a look at their budget.
Theirs was the 2,500, right?
They want 25 for artistic supplies, promotion, expenses. I'm guessing that one that didn't feel clear to everyone else is probably rental, for a facility.
Mhm.
So, this will be a challenge, and it will be a very specific audience. She's quite accomplished. We didn't really get into her background. She's performed as a soloist and a chamber musician across the U.S. and abroad. She's a graduate of Yale and New England Conservatory. She currently serves on the faculty at the Boston University Tanglewood Institute. Her recent projects include this, along with Echoes of Memory. So she's trying to bridge that area between classical and contemporary life. We have not done anything from the classic standpoint.
The program is a work, as I've gotten to work closely, I ever ran. From which option it is. One, you are doing that more.
This is titled "A Year with Cancer." So I think there was a woman that was speaking before that she started to play who has cancer. All right, I need to know how everyone feels about this one. Would you like to continue this process, this project? I think it's fair to
For me,
say,
it's as long as, yeah, it's just whose work is she performing? And, I think that can be answered in your conversation, because she's not creating the work, she's performing it, or she's collaborating with them.
all right. Okay, next project is the Blades of Change. This would be for the 4 blades and doing basically kind of a festival type with music and different activities for $5,000. If you are on board with this project, we would need to know how many of the blades we would like to do. Again, we have 3 pedestals.
Well, do we need to really quick have a, sidebar and say, do we want 3 blades or do we want a fish and 3 blades or?
That's what
Yeah, it feels a little bit weird to have a fish and a couple blades, or and if we only have 3 and there's not an opportunity to get any more, do we do 3 blades there, and is there another opportunity for a fish someplace, right?
Maybe we could look into that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like the 3, it feels weird to.
Better.
Well, I like the fish better personally as well. I think the blade concept is interesting. I also don't I think the pop-up shops also kind of support BIPOC with a lean towards maybe community. So I think that the blades totally support that area. The 3 blades would be great if we have 3 plinths there, but then let's find potentially another option for the salmon I guess that would be my vote, but.
All right.
I would like to get some clarity about the fish before we commit to the fish and the blades. I don't feel like we have enough information to make an informed decision.
What way do you mean? In terms of the pedestals
Well,
or?
in terms of, like, if he wants the money to complete the fish or complete his sculpture, and then he's willing to do a long-term loan. What are his thoughts? How long do we want to do it? Like, we don't know, I don't feel like we know enough about that versus, how long do we have the blades for? How long do we, what is, for E, F, and G, we could do 5 years, like, we don't have, I don't feel like we have all those pieces.
He said that we could have it as long as we wanted, but I do think that when I'm having conversations with him, I can have that discussion about what that timeline would be. And I would guess that he would be open to whatever it is that we're open to. And I would probably recommend doing no more than a 3-year contract with him.
I was just thinking, how close are these like pedestals? 'Cause if they're like pretty close, what we can do is sort of we can ask the two blades to sort of work in cohesion with the fish. So like if we're doing a salmon, the other two blades could have like some sort of salmon or water theme going through them. So it seems like a cohesive piece. Or if they're like far apart, it could just be like the salmon in one and then the blade in one and the blade.
AC, did you have questions? Oh, sorry. I think AC might have to go. I think that's what I'm. Or was it Kelly? AC, we can't hear you. You're muted.
She's saying something else.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I have an overall question, which maybe I just don't understand, which is about public art versus the other arts in this call. Because I don't know if you do separate calls for public art, because it's sort of its different category. And then the temporary versus permanent. If something's displayed temporarily, can we, this might be a really naive question, can we just buy it and put it somewhere else rather than rent it? And I don't need to have that answer now. The other thought is, are we covering airfare and rental cars? Like, is that
They're
considered
local.
an artistic?
Oh, you're talking about with the other artists?
With artists from New York?
Oh, we don't specify, so it's fine that we're doing that. It doesn't.
It seems like a
limit
lot. It
us.
seems like a lot. I
Yeah.
go to New York twice a year, $500 round trip, but
Yeah, I thought that seemed high too.
and let's see. Sorry, the big question for everybody, for every artist, is where is this going to be? Because a lot of them, especially the New York artists, has this person ever been to Bothell? Do they understand what a challenge it is to find a place to stage something? And that's, I think, a question, Janae, that you can talk to them about.
Yep, that would be the plan. I just need to know where everybody is before I reach out to the artists. I didn't want to begin having conversations with any of them until I knew where the commission sat in terms of what they were interested in continuing to pursue.
Great.
Kylie?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking similar to Mary Beth on this about how like, I think things also usually tend to come in like threes also. So then naturally the salmon would then be kind of considered one of the three, but they're also pretty different. So I feel like just like, I don't know, for the style, like aesthetic of the area will then be kind of, I'm worried they would be like kind of offset by each other. It might just be like a little bit awkward. But that being said, like I do like the fish, and I think the blades are pretty interesting too, and I think they fit like well there. So yeah, if we could find, another place for the fish or another like project that they would fit better into. Also, so I'm looking at the comment here, like on the screen right now, the one for no, it
Yeah, Kylie,
I did-
that was incorrect because I think
Okay,
the
that's what I
jurors
thought.
didn't understand. So that's
Okay.
why I wanted this to be something that we discussed because it just was an oversight on the jurors' part, and that's fine.
Right.
I just wanted everyone to understand that this was something that we have this other funding for 3 pedestals. And I think what I'm hearing from everyone is that we could, at least the majority, and is we could focus on having 3 of the blades of change down at Lot E, F, and G. And that's a great point about, that the pop shops are a BIPOC community. So I think that there's a great opportunity there. And then maybe we can look at seeing if we can come up with funding for a 4th pedestal to do the fish, maybe at the park at Bothell Landing. How does that sound for everyone? Is that a thumbs up? Okay.
And these are all temporary, correct?
They are all temporary.
But also, with going with 3 blades versus 4, would that reduce the amount of money that they're asking for?
It would, and that would have to be also negotiated.
Just for clarification, because I've been lost. Trying to keep them all straight. Which is the one from New York? Are we there yet, or?
That's the photo one.
Okay, thank you. I just got them.
Yeah, this one's local as well as the salmon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're okay moving this to here, to this column here where we're actually going to fund it.
This might sound very like, what is a BIPOC?
Oh, what is it? People
Black.
of color, Black
Oh.
Indigenous people of color?
Yes.
All good questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. This 5,000 is for the salmon, but we're moving forward with that. And then we've got the 8,000 here for the blades, but we are negotiating for 3 rather than 4.
Right.
Okay, moving on to Julia Forrest. This is the artist from Brooklyn that wants to do the photography workshops. Was this the budget that you felt was too high for transportation or for transportation, AC?
Yeah, I just, as a percentage of the budget going to travel versus to artists, it's just something to consider. I know we didn't say we wouldn't cover transportation and rental cars, but.
That's true.
So I
We
think it's just
also,
a discussion.
we also said that we didn't, put a restriction on artists from outside of the state, we've opened that up and,
Right.
and that's something that we can have a future conversation about. But at this point, they're looking at
Right.
$2,800 for airfare, car rental. And then I'm sure they should have also typed in accommodations. Well, no,
She did.
actually,
She did.
1,200 for the
Oh, they've got,
studio.
Yeah, for the apartment.
yeah, they've got that.
So it's interesting, what they haven't done, I mean, obviously their time to do all of this, right? So, I mean, their artist fee to spend all this time could equal that amount. I think 2,800 sounds like an awful lot as well, but that's also including, I mean, there's nothing for anything of the time to do all of what they would be doing.
Great point.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Can
Yeah.
I know we didn't put it in in our guidelines and everything like that, but I feel like it was just implied that artists would be local-ish, if not an actual Bothell artist. I really think this is too far-flung, and I would say no to this. I think I would just really like to see the money stay relatively local, like that's kind of always been our drive, even if we didn't say it specifically, so.
I feel.
I agree with Hillary. I love the concept. Sorry. I love the
Okay.
concept and I love the photos, but it wasn't to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, we need this specific photographer to create that type of shot. I feel like there's local photographers who could do similar shots that have that same amount of talent. So I think flying somebody out and spending more money on that than on the art, like that feels a little, I would like to prioritize other ones just because I wasn't blown away. I really like the concept a lot. And I love the idea of bringing community members out there. I think that's really, really lovely. Just the execution wasn't something where I was like, we need this person to do that. So I feel a little hesitant to fly them out.
Okay. Anybody else? We're starting to run low on time, guys. We're at 7:30,
Yeah,
so I think
gotta
we need
go.
to kind of
I
start
want to trust
speeding
the,
up. Go ahead. Sorry, AC.
sorry, I want to trust the jurors on this, but maybe discuss how the funds could be, since we didn't exclude being out of the state.
I know we
happy with
did
that.
intentionally, but,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. But I don't disagree with Holly or Hillary on this. I don't think it's like, oh my gosh, this is like a unique artist. We have to have this person here. And while we didn't state it, obviously maybe we want to state that going forward to be more clear. I also feel that way about the next one from Las Vegas. I am not opposed at all about focusing on an issue such as homelessness. It worries me a little bit that this person doesn't understand Bothell or what specifically is going on here. I would much rather work with an artist who is connected to the local scene to do that. And it makes me really nervous to have somebody who doesn't really know our situation here. And I just, that.
Okay. Yep. I think I'm hearing consensus here that we should remove the 4,500 for the artist from Brooklyn and not fund that project, as well as the gentleman that is coming from Vegas, I believe. Was that Breyer?
Yes, that's right. David the Lemple, that guy.
No, this was the man. Oh, I thought
Yeah,
this was.
I have it written down here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just confirm, but just,
Yes, David.
I was thinking this was the gentleman. Okay.
Briar's from Shoreline, that's the $600 for the bike, that thing up in Clearwater or
Right, that's
whatever.
what I thought. So,
Yeah, his name is David Lampel.
okay.
Eyes on You, Reflections from Bothell's Edge, but yet he's from Vegas. And so I just felt like,
The jury, I thank them for their work, but at the end of the day, we're the ones who have to back up the decisions, and it just doesn't feel good.
Okay, how about the collage project?
I think the collage project looks like a way to bring the community together and put a collection of people all working together to make a greater whole. I think that's something that people really like.
Okay, and then 600 for Breyer pending the location. So we're at $26,835 plus the 5,000 for the salmon. We're at $31,835. We have a lot of money.
Right.
We're we've got about $20,000 left. To
Can I
spend.
ask a question about one of the next ones on the next tier? I know we're limited on time, but like there was the one about kind of revamping the art walk and making it a bigger deal and bringing more people in. And so I know we supported that, the art walk in a previous grant effort. I just wondered, when I think about the role of the Arts Commission and bringing more art to Bothell and looking at, well, what would that really look like? I mean, part of me says they want to be a nonprofit. Well, so is that a doors open thing? But if ultimately, when I think about all of these different projects and what's going to drive the most people and make the most impact art-wise for Bothell, that feels like a pretty big one to me, or it could, right? And I don't know, it's already happening. I don't know the logistics of it all. But I wanted our group to talk about it a little bit to say, and I was even thinking outside of this, should this be something that the Arts Commission should support for Bothell overall? We do it with our presence at the event as it exists today, but should we have a greater role in it? And I don't have an answer. I just think it's worth our group discussing it.
I would like to.
So I agree that the budget's very bloated. And I think that the notion around that was that eventually they would have maybe some outdoor tents for vendors to try to bring everyone together, because some of the challenges in the past has been people will just do Main Street, but then they won't come to City Hall or they won't go to Make Apothecary. And so they were trying to create a way to bridge that. However, 4 events a year, essentially 3 of them are taking place when it's cold and wet and dark. And so that was something that they kind of came upon rather quickly with this event coming up in October. It's going to be dark. And so doing anything outside is not possible. So I think, the idea of vendors and having these extra tents is something that we can eliminate. And then that marketing budget was pretty bloated as well.
Yeah.
So, maybe we look at half of that. Do you want to
Right,
do
right.
4,500 or 5,000?
Mhm.
Does that sound reasonable to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where my head was going to, is like, can we just at least say, hey, we support you, or the Arts Commission, of course, we support doing more to drive people to see art. And I don't know much more about what all of their plans, but it just seemed like we should try to support them in some way.
Okay, so I've added 4,500 there. Does that sound okay for everyone? Okay. One of the other projects is Jeffrey Moydell.
Yeah.
This was a really, I felt, a very compelling project. And I think that there's a lot of potential here. It's quite accessible. So how do you feel about this project? And would you like me to review it again as a reminder?
Yeah, and I know it was like it was only like July 2nd through 5th or something. And it also seemed like it was $10,000. So it seemed like it seemed expensive, but I didn't necessarily know what was included in that.
Well, and to AC's point, this is pieces that he is actually writing, and then he has piano, chorus, and solo voices. So there's a lot of people involved in this. What's fascinating to me about this is that it's the title, We the People. The U.S. is celebrating their quincentennial celebration next year, 250 years. So
it's right during that time of.
it's right during that time of 4th of July, and we all know how our community responds to that. So it's an original piece, but yet it's also accessible. This is something, he attended the workshop, and so he really listened and was very mindful of some of the restrictions that we have with space. And he has already identified a church that he'd like to do this in.
What,
Can I ask which church? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I was just gonna ask, where is he from?
He lives in Snohomish.
Okay.
And his partner is actually a teacher, I think, at one of the high schools.
Okay.
Did AC have to leave? AC was at the work.
What's his first name again?
Jeffrey Moydell.
Why is that name?
He's fairly local. Anyway, how do you all feel about, I don't feel that this budget is inflated because of all of the different parts to it. And
is it one concert? Is it multiple? Or is it some?
And you can see that the requested funds are well justified. However, this proposal event seems beyond the scope of the modest funds available to this Bothell program. But we do say up to $10,000, so.
I think, but the only question I would have is, I agree, I think for the 250th, 4th of July, all that stuff, it would be really cool to do an added piece like this. I would suggest that Danae talk to other city staff members before we get too far down the road and make sure that it fits in. And make sure, like, if we had it like the 2nd or the 3rd or the 5th, that it works with, anything and everything else that the city's doing, because we don't want to like, hey, we're doing this thing. Oh, this is at the same time, or no, we're doing extra, or that needs to be answered and make sure that we're all in the same.
Well, it would be on city property, so we wouldn't really have much of a say in the fact that they are. But
we're funding it and putting it on, so.
Absolutely. And so part of that conversation will be what's the accessibility for the church, what's the parking capacity, those are all questions that we can look into. And I definitely vet this through city staff, so that will be a given. Okay. All right, so we're looking at the full amount of funding for this project. This was the woman who wants to do she needs,
Guerrilla Films person. Right?
Yeah, this is the film. She needs final production, I believe.
Yeah, but she was looking for $10,000 too, right?
Yeah. This seems to me like an all or nothing venture. We either can fund it or we can't. Giving her $5,000 is not going to be enough to really help her unless she's got other funding, but that's not stated in the application.
What was the theme of her film? again?
Homelessness. It's certainly a and and we did something similar to this last year with Matsa Ana Sugano when we did, and that was fantastic. So I feel really, good about it in that regard. Sorry, what was her name?
It's Christy X or something, Guerrilla Films. She's right before the tests, her number, last four or three are 268. As far as this is her, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the post-production that she needs for this.
Right.
I don't know if it fits Bothell. Like it's a compelling story and things, but I'm just not sure it's right.
Well, and, we're also really dedicated to advancing all arts in Bothell, and what may not be comfortable and familiar. It certainly would be a departure from that.
Well, it's like what we did at the library with, is it Lindy or? With those Echo Glen, right?
Yeah, we have done something similar.
Are we needing, given that it's we have 20 minutes left to our meeting, are we needing to finalize all tonight?
Well, we do state that we would let everyone know by next week, so let's see where we're at now we've got, we're at 31,835. And then we are feeling very good about
and she was the singing the Philippines and she was maybe, so she wasn't on there either, yeah.
we haven't talked about hers yet, or Anu Vidari. This is the artist.
Right.
In King County.
Right, so that's a good point. I mean, that first a news, they were only looking for 5,000, right? And that's seemed like a pretty professional.
Absolutely.
Group.
As
bringing something that's dance, and we don't have a lot of dance into the mix this time around.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of dance is it?
East Indian.
Combined with flamenco, or, I mean, I feel like there was
yeah, there was quite a few different, and I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, Bharatanatyam?
Bharatanatyam?
Bharatanatyam.
Bharatanatyam.
Do you know what that is?
Yes, a lot of my friends do it.
Oh, it's a type of dance?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
It's actually quite common in a lot of the kids to do as an extracurricular.
Okay.
So I know for a fact there are a lot of people, they have a full graduation sort of thing. And I know for a fact there's a lot of people in this area that went.
Okay.
So would it be something that would be
And Fita and Holly both have their hands up too, so.
Go ahead.
Which one?
Evita?
Yeah, I just wanted, I actually do an Indian classical dance called Kuchipudi. So it's very, it's very similar to Bharatanatyam, where, they're both originated from South India, and they're, very similar in the movements. It's, yeah, I was just mentioning that I, have background. I've been doing Indian classical dance for 9 years, I would say. So the thing Anshu was saying about the graduation ceremony, I'm starting to plan mine. So I have a bit of background on the dance form.
We have done several cultural events around East Indian in the last couple years. Mm-hmm. So I would like to just throw out the thought around doing something with but it's music. Tessa's work is I think Brazilian, but hers is music.
This is Filipino music. It's called Songs of the Philippines or something.
Okay.
Singing the Philippines. then, okay, Holly, you have a question too, right? Or a comment?
This woman is quite accomplished too, I have to say. She's got quite a few.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna bring it back to the video real quick because that's $10,000 and these other projects are also really, I would say equally great. And asking for half that, I'd rather fund multiple smaller ones than that one, just personally.
Yes.
For the, for Jeff Moydell,
I think she's saying
Yeah.
instead, yeah, so yes to
Yeah,
Jeff.
instead of that, I'd rather fund like the dancing one and then the Filipino music one. I'd rather do that than just one video event that doesn't quite connect as much to our local community.
okay.
I
Okay,
would agree
so-
with that.
Okay, so if we were to do Emily Brown at 45, can someone add this up for me?
Yep. Got it.
31,835
35
plus 4,500.
plus 4,500. Oh, gosh, sorry. First number again. It did not. 31,835
35
plus
4,500.
plus.
Are we talking about Jeff Moydell still, or are we
No.
Let's wait, let's add him at the end.
5,000
Who's 5,000?
Tess
Yes, okay.
plus 5,000 for Anu?
So two 5,000s.
Mhm.
We're at 46,335.
Okay, minus 52,000. What would you say it was, 40?
Yeah, what was your total, Hillary?
46,335 leaves us with about $5,600.
Okay, what if we reduce the amount for Emily Brown? How do you feel about that? Because we can also, she asked for a fee for every participant, and we can incorporate that into with our regular budget. Not a lot. I mean, it's very
Are
slim.
there other options? I just wonder, are there other options for them outside of our grant program? Or
I don't, so I don't know how that would look. I mean, other than, I mean, we're
I
already.
didn't mean that from the Arts
providing-
Commission. I meant that like Open
Oh.
Doors or Chamber. or
Yeah.
something.
I think that there is funding. How about do you want to reduce the amount to, how much was left again? I'm sorry.
About $5,000. What?
5,000.
5,665.
Is it 52,000 is our total budget even?
52, yes.
Oh, that's right. We're only doing the one this time, right?
Yes.
We're not
So
doing
5615,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have 5615 if it's 52,000 minus 46,385. So we could make the number for the Emily Brown thing less. I mean, I don't know what makes up that number, right? It would be nice to support them in some way, but it could be $2,500 or something, right? But then what would that get us with someone else, right? Because we've taken out that Jeffrey Brown thing or Jeffrey Moiselle, when we said that might be something important for the 250th birthday, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, maybe
right.
we can add that back in. It would be 6,665 plus whatever the difference is for Emily. So if we took Emily down to 2,000, then that would be another couple thousand, and that would get Jeffrey a little bit closer to what he's asking.
So that would that's 7615, I think, if we,
Sorry, can we go back to the 31,000? I'm writing these down this time.
835.
31,835.
Yep. And so Emily goes down to 2 now, right? Okay.
835.
And then 10, basically with Tess and Anu.
Hmm?
So that's 12. So
Sorry.
it's 31,835 plus 12,000.
Okay.
That's 12,000 is
So we
43,835.
could do Jeffrey.
Yeah, because what's Jeffrey? 9 something?
Yeah.
9,900.
'Cause I'm sorry, you said Jeffrey and I remember the film. I got the
Oh,
two.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
the two confused. My
Okay,
apologies.
so Jeffrey was,
9,900.
You have just
Yeah.
enough.
40.
so we're $775 over, because I have 53, oh, I know, we're 1,700, right? Because it's 53,775.
Wanted me to add it one more, do you want to do it one more time, or you've?
Okay, so 31,000.
31,835
Okay.
plus 2,000
Plus.
9,940, 10,000.
53,775.
That's what I got.
Let's do it. Let's just do it. And then I'll be able to have conversations with, you know, a couple of these artists. You know, remember Blades of Change will be
Right.
lower.
Yep. Oh,
So
right.
I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
All right. Does everyone feel good about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, we did it.
I know,
Good job,
these
you
are always
guys.
hard, but they're always
9
good.
minutes to spare.
But it's really good to have a thorough discussion about these,
Yeah,
right? And feel good about what's signed off on.
There's so many things that you just miss.
Right, and to what Hillary said, I think, you know, we totally appreciate the panel and the effort that they put in it, but I think some really great comments were brought up about maybe some of the comments and the assumptions, which were what they thought, and, you know, they were voicing their opinion, but I think as we dive deeper into some things, I think ultimately we're the ones who want to sign off on the funding. So
Okay, I agree.
I think it was a great
Okay,
conversation.
Good job, everybody. Good job. That's a lot.
I know, it was a feat.
All right.
Oh, so we need a
I
moment.
would prefer not, because then it just gives me a little bit of flexibility.
But we have to have a motion to.
Can we make them?
The funds are there from a grant, so, and you've already approved doing the project. So if you ask for a motion, then it's putting me, I don't have some flexibility. So if I needed to take some money from the city's general fund, how would you feel about that? Would that be okay?
Well, wouldn't we want to have a discussion about that if you were taking the money from the general
Yeah.
fund?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think if there needs to be a motion to say that we've selected, that we've reviewed the applicants and, come up with a list for further pursuit, or I don't know, I'm not the best person to know what has to have sign off on, like with a motion or not, so
Okay,
I'll defer to.
I'll let somebody else decide how they want to do that. I don't think it's necessary. We've got the funds from the grant and the guidelines, and this is recorded, so it's nice to have some flexibility, but if you feel otherwise, why don't you go ahead and make a motion, Hillary?
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the outline, or I make a motion to approve oh God, I'm trying to think of what to
The
say.
selection of
The
applicants?
selection of applicants as discussed tonight for the most recent Bothell Arts Commission grants.
Okay, did everybody hear that? And I see Kylie, you have your hand raised. Did you want to say something?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask. I was basically asking the same thing about if we were to motion and like how I should write it, but Hillary did a great job of saying that exactly. So
Okay,
hand
we
is
need
down.
somebody to second that motion then.
I can second it.
Okay, so is there any discussion regarding the motion to approve the selection of grant applicants for the most recent, the 2025-26 grant cycle?
My only discussion is to ask Danae if that specific phrasing traps you at all, or if that gives you enough room.
No, that's fine. That gives me room.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Great
it.
job, Hillary. Very lawyerly.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Anybody opposed? No. All right, then that motion has been approved.
Okay.
Okay, so with great job, everybody. With 5 minutes left, I think we can go back to our quick topic on the agenda. I think it's basically some of the staff updates, and maybe we need a light. Maybe, I think it's right behind. You're doing that. Oh, there we go.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, right, so actually, we only have 5 minutes. It's the strategic plan calendar and assignments update was the next topic. I think there is something that's important to be covered before the next meeting, and that is the meet and mingle event. Is that right, guys? Isn't that in early October? So
November, early
it's
November now. So
okay.
the library was not available for the October date, so it's November 4th, I believe. So that's way better.
Yeah, that's
So-
great. So that can be talked about at the next meeting, but maybe whoever is behind it, can they just give a quick update so everybody knows and can put it on their calendar?
AC has been taking the reins on this one, but she did send a lovely email with information that I don't have pulled up right now, so I can't tell you the exact dates and times, but I do know, I think it's November 4th or 5th. It's at the library and it's Wednesday, I believe, because that's when they're open till 8, so it'd be 6 to 8 p.m. I think, but I'm not sure which specific date in
It
November.
is Wednesday, November 5th, and
Hey.
it's at the Bothell Library, and it's from 6 to 8, and we've already begun marketing for it. I mean, submitted articles for communication through the city's channels. We've done a postcard that's been designed. It's already been printed. It's on the way, so we'll have that at the next meeting for everyone to pass around, which will be great. It will be very, casual. There will be probably a quick PowerPoint presentation by the Arts Commission, just talking about upcoming activities and projects and events. And then it'll be, the rest of the time will be available for everyone else to mix and mingle.
And it's open to anyone, but is there a specific invite list to artists? I mean, how are we figuring out who we want to attend?
Well, we're marketing it to anyone, and it's open to anyone of all artistic genres. We could also probably send out an announcement through our e-channels.
Okay. One thing that also that just came up, and we can talk about this later too, but when going through the council recap, Jen Eldrick had said, hey, if there's something going on, let me know and I'll put it in my newsletter. So we should kind of get in that mentality of what are those things that we want everybody to be aware of, because I think the more of things that we want to really get out there.
What is the exact purpose of this?
So does somebody who's kind of been involved want to answer that?
Holly, do you want to answer that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I could not hear.
Sorry, what is the exact purpose of this?
So the purpose of this event is to foster connections within our community that already exists. So essentially, we're trying to create a space for artists and artistic business owners to meet each other, communicate, discuss their needs with us, vaguely. Our goal is to mostly kind of have them give us information about how we can help them through their own personal discussions with each other. And so the goal is to just foster those connections, give them a place to create those connections, and also ask good questions so that we can kind of understand what they're lacking in their community, what needs we can help them fill, and also what needs they can help each other fill, which is my number one goal. So if we can find artists that are missing spaces and business owners that have spaces, that kind of thing, we're just trying to help foster those relationships to kind of build a more solidified artistic community in Bothell.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, I know we have only 1 minute left. Can everybody stay just a few minutes late? I know we have the staff report, and Danae, you can kind of focus on what you think is most important for this group.
Could I see the agenda?
Okay, we'll try to wrap up within that. That's okay.
Basically, I just wanted to mention that, Lot E, F, and G is now officially activated. We have picnic benches. We have sales over the picnic benches. We've gone from 4 to 8 pop shops. We have a community garden where the 3 pedestals will likely take place. We have an artist-activated mural area where we'll be able to have further conversations with the Arts Commission on how we go about selecting those artists. But that's something that we'll be able to do once the weather gets nice again. There will be food booths, food trucks, and there also will be space for doing events. So we're trying to make the space accessible for anyone that wants to do an event in that area. Current projects, we've had some great current projects for the Creative Arts Grant Program. Rahini Mathur has completed her Blooms and Winged Wonders. The mural is at the park at Bothell Landing. There's also a mural at former Wayne Golf Course by Rachel Kutz. She's involved with Whale Scout, and they have a beautiful mural there. So if you take the path, you'll be able to see that piece of artwork. Will Schlau is the sculpture artist who will be installing his whimsical life-size frog underneath the Bothell Bridge. We've begun to do some preliminary marketing for that, just kind of getting teasers to get the word out, be on the lookout for this. We're not saying exactly where it is. It's a bit of a surprise. Will hopes to have it installed in November.
Okay, cool.
And then Deepti Argawal did her traditional visual art festival called the Art Courtyard last Saturday from 1 to 4 at the Bothell Landing, our library, and it was a huge success. It features traditional folk art, and I was unable to attend that event. I don't know if any of you were able to stop in, but I know Nikita is involved with that, so she was there. So that was a great event. And then let's see, we have we received 5 requests for proposals for the Downtown Public Art Plan and Pilot Implementation Project. The panel interviewed the 5 applicants on Thursday of last week and then Tuesday of this week. And it was pretty unanimous who the #1 selection is, but we'll be finalizing that with the panel on Monday, and then we will be reaching out to the artist and the consultant for that project. And I wanted to quickly let you know that John Fleming's public art piece called Journeys, that's at the Alexan, now has an incredible sign that's very large scale. And it really does a good job at describing what the project's all about, so that now people will be able to really take a look at it and read it, and then maybe start focusing a little bit more on the words that maybe aren't quite as noticeable. So I encourage you to check that out. And then I talked about Lot E, F, and G, so I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're aware of the public art, so I think we're good.
Okay, so that's great. Thanks, Renee. Final comments, anything anybody wants to bring up about what's happening around town? I think a lot of it'd be great to hear any input at some point when we have more time, just about kind of the summer concerts, all the different things, on any sort of input of how those things work, but maybe we can save that for our next meeting. Future meeting agenda items we talked about. Danae's going to send out the council meeting recap from our meeting that we had in July, I think it was, so that we're prepared to talk about priorities for October on the agenda there. And then that's an action item. And I don't remember anything else other than the grant-related topics for the action items. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up here? All right, then we just need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anybody want to make a motion for that?
I will motion to adjourn.
Okay, would anybody like to second that motion?
I will second that motion.
All right, thank you, Holly. All right, the motion is to adjourn tonight's meeting. Is there anybody who wants to talk about this? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? All right, we are unanimous. We'd like to go home. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Night.
We'll
Bye,
see you in
everyone.
October.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.